Peace and blessings to you all. Hello. Welcome to this video. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Nicole. I like to come on here once a week just to share messages of guidance, intuitive messages that have come through to help you on your journey, to help you on your path, to just give you messages as to what might be going on for you at the moment and what you can do to sort of help yourself more easily move through these transitions. So yesterday, interestingly, was it yesterday? The day before. So the day before yesterday was Friday the 13th and also happened to be the full moon. So quite a lot of interesting energies. We also had the 12/12 portal earlier during the course of last week. And so some of you might have been feeling a lot of heavy energy. Some of you might have just been feeling all kinds of things. I think at this point we're all kind of wondering what could possibly happen next. And as the year is coming to a close, many of us are probably quite ready to be done with 2024, as this has certainly not been an easy year for anyone. You know, it has certainly been a reoccurring theme that many people have been experiencing many challenges this year. And as I like to say, and have probably repeated a million times by now, that all these challenges that we are being exposed to have been happening in order to help us really know ourselves better than before and to identify parts of ourselves that have been lying dormant beneath the surface that need to come up into our awareness and our consciousness so that we can actually do something about them. And so 2024, has really been a year of intense shadow work. And if you go back and look at the video that I did about, the kind of year that 2024 would be, I said that there would be a lot of crazy things going on, which we have certainly seen, because also remembering that 2024 has been in Chinese astrology the year of the dragon. And also the fact that 2024 was an 8th year is again all about personal power, and taking back our power also has been very much a year of karma, which is why we have seen so many things playing out on the sort of global stage as many things are coming to the surface. A lot of information is coming to the surface. I think it's safe to say that we are at a point where fewer and fewer people are wanting to be really wanting to be trusting of the systems in which we used to place a lot of our trust. And so we have seen that a lot of these systems have continued to fall apart. And when ever since 2020, with the astrological alignments that were in place at the time, we really saw that the world as we know it was going to essentially start falling apart. And that is what is happening. I keep talking about the shift from 3D to 5D, and many of you have probably heard of moving into the new earth and all of these concepts, and no one really knows what that means. And anyone who tells you that they know what that means, I'm sorry, is really lying to you, because we have no clue. This has never ever happened before, what is happening in the world. And what is also happening is happening on a cosmic and galactic level. And so we don't really know what's happening, but we can certainly say that we are being bombarded with all kinds of energies, and that all of this is serving for a greater purpose. We are all being challenged, as I have said in previous videos. The whole point of the human experience is to grow and expand and evolve. But if we're always stuck in our comfort zone, how do we possibly expand and grow? When we're in our comfort zone and we're not experiencing any kind of challenges or any kind of difficulties, then we don't really know what is inside of us that is wanting to come out. That the whole point of the spiritual journey is about knowing ourselves better than ever before, and it is about kind of bringing the higher self down into the physical body and essentially beginning to embody your higher self in human form. And so that is really what is taking place at this time. And I think 2025 is just going to get crazier, and as time continues to move forward, things are just going to continue getting weirder and weirder. And so today I have pulled some cards here to give you some guidance as to what might be going on. And remember, these videos are timeless, so at whatever point you're watching these videos, they will bring the messages that you need to hear. And if you resonate with these messages and they bring you some clarity, or they help you to shift your perspective on something that has been bothering you for some time, then maybe share the video with some other people who you think might benefit them as well. So as I said, we just recently had the full moon that was in the sign of Gemini. I believe that Mercury was recently retrograde and has recently gone direct. So a lot of energies that we are feeling differently. Remember that the full moon represents a time of culmination. As now the moon is full, what happens is that the light shines more brightly, and so helps us to identify things that were really hidden beneath the surface. So at this time with the full moon, you might have been noticing that there was a lot of things kind of coming up to the surface, and a lot of questioning about things, and maybe things not really going your way. And so this is all for the full moon to help you identify areas in your life that might need some changes or some adjustments, or things that need to be, kind of cast out because they are no longer serving you. So the first card we have here is ninth house exploration, and the numerology we have is so we have an 11. So 11 is, really the number of spirituality. I'm sure many of you have heard of 1111 and how everyone's like, oh, make a wish, it's 1111. And so really when you continuously see the number 1111, this is a sign that you are well and truly on your spiritual awakening journey. And the spiritual awakening journey is an ongoing process, and it looks differently for everyone. There is no set way, and there are levels to the awakening journey. And essentially, here with this ninth house exploration, what's coming to mind really is that as you start to awaken to your spiritual journey, and you start to, wake up, so to speak, and start to look at things from a soul-based level as opposed to just a mind-based level or a physical-based level, then you begin to explore new aspects of yourself. You explore new aspects of life, you explore new aspects of the universe, you explore new aspects of how you look at yourself, how you look at the world, how you show up in the world, how you deal with certain situations. And so yes, ninth house really is a Sagittarius energy, and the ninth house in astrology really talks about higher learning. It's about wisdom, it's about philosophy, it's about exploring things that you wouldn't normally explore. It's about discovery. And so really what is happening at this time, and all the things that we are seeing playing out on the global stage, is really a manifestation of the fact that more and more individual people are awakening. And the more individual people are willing to explore and look at things that they wouldn't have previously looked at, well, of course, the energies of the collective are going to change. And what happens is that if more and more individual people within the collective begin to shift, then the collective energy, it gets to a point where once we reach a certain level, the vibrational frequency of all those individual people will collectively change the energy of the collective. And maybe some of you have heard of the 100 monkey effect, where they did a study to show that by the time 100 monkeys knew how to do a certain skill, then all the monkeys in the world, whether they had been taught the skill, would suddenly be able to do that same skill. And so this effect is the same on humans. They did there was the 4-minute mile theory that also highlighted this, because at one point, I can't remember who he was, some dude who was running, and he beat the score of the 4-minute mile, which was previously, before that everyone was like, oh no, it's not possible to do that, until eventually suddenly everybody started breaking the records. Because you see, with human beings, we say we need to see to believe. And so once somebody has done something that we previously thought was undoable or unattainable, once somebody has broken that that belief for the collective, then suddenly, you know, more people have changed their belief, and as a result of that, more people then are able to do that thing. I don't know if I'm making sense here, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. And so really starting off this reading here with the ninth house and, you know, exploration. And if you look at the imagery here, it's all about a compass and one of these old things that they used to, you know, look at and use on maps. You know, really kind of, you know, it makes me think of when they were exploring the, you know, the old world and the new world from within the old world. And so that's kind of what's happening. You know, we have been living in the old world and the old frequencies, and we are now starting to navigate towards the new frequencies. We are exploring what it feels like for us to be in these new frequencies, because they are new to us. And it's kind of like, you know, when you go to try on some new clothes, you want to see, oh, how does this feel? How do I look in this? And then you decide, okay, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to look great in it. And so that is kind of what we're doing now, is we are trying on what it feels like to be in these new energies. It's we explore. And the thing is like, you know, when maybe you buy a new pair of jeans and they're really tight and you're just like, oh, when I sit down, it's a little bit tight. And so it takes a while for you to kind of like get comfortable wearing these new jeans, and over time they start to loosen up and feel more comfortable when you're wearing them. And I guess that's kind of like what's happening now at this point, where we are all trying on our new sets of jeans and being like, okay, I'm just trying this out. And it's like, okay, you go out, and as soon as you come home, you're like, oh, I need to take off those jeans, they're a bit tight. And then gradually you can, you know, the next time you wear them, maybe you won't need to take them off when you go home. So weird that I'm giving you a jeans analogy, but I'm hoping that's going to, you know, give you some clarity. So the next card we have here, interesting, is 11th house with community, because yes, as we go through this journey of exploring what the new world looks like, we're also understanding that, you know, there's a term that my sister really likes to use where she talks about we are going into the ancient future. And what that means, it's about taking the best parts of the the best parts of the ancient past and adding on the best parts of the now, soon future. So, you know, one of the things that was a very important part of life before was the fact that community played such an important role. And we have to remember that we are social beings as human beings, and as much as many of us might have found ourselves in a place of going inwards and retreating and being in a little bit of hermit mode, which is a very big part of the awakening journey, as it is about remembering or rediscovering what it is like to be in your own energetic field. Because when we are constantly with other people, what happens is that we then no longer are able to differentiate between what is our energy and what is other people's energies. And so when you spend a lot of time in your own energy, you start to remember, okay, this is my energy. And then it becomes easier when you're outdoors interacting with other people. You're then more easily able to pinpoint, you know, this is not my energy. I'm not familiar with it, therefore meaning that I'm picking up on something that belongs to someone else. And so remember, we are constantly affecting each other with our energies. And so the more aware we are of our own energetic signature, then the easier it is for us to identify what is ours and what we are picking up that is being projected by perhaps someone else. So the numerology here is a 4. And so what that brings to mind is that what is going to bring a lot of stability in your life at this time is community. And that is very true. We're at a point where, you know, we live in a world that is supposedly so connected, but I again feel that people are more disconnected than they have ever been before. And community now, and in all its different forms, whether this is friends, whether this is family, whether this is your work colleagues, or whatever, wherever it is that you find community, and this is what we are rediscovering at this time, is remembering how important community is to us. Because it is important to be individual in our power and in ourselves, but it is also remembering that we belong to a community. So just being part of the human race, we are part of a greater community, the community of the human race. So we really need to start to identify where we can be more supportive of our community and where we can be more involved in our community and in advancing our community. And now community can be as big or small as it is. So it's really just about identifying how you want to play a role within your community and perhaps what that role might be. So the next card we have here is second house, and again another 4. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you the card here for those of you who like to see the images. So it's really about being supported. Remember that 4 energy there is all about foundation. So yes, again, another 4. And this is the second house, which is the house of resources. So the second house relates to the house of Virgo. It's all about material possession. The second house is all about all of the different things that can be a resource. So the first thing that people will tend to think of is money, but money is not the only resource. And especially now as we move more and more into the age of Aquarius, we're starting to realize that, Aquarius energy is all about philanthropy and advancing the collective as opposed to advancing just the individual. And so it is very much about resources, because we have been living in a world whereby we believe so many people have been living in lack. And as a result of that lack, we have been programmed to believe that in order for me to have, somebody else must not have. But that is the complete wrong mindset, because we really do live in a very abundant world. But the way in the places in which we are looking for resources are the wrong places. So the fact that everyone is so obsessed with money, and the fact that the world has become so corrupted because people will do just about anything to get money, that is where the problem lies. Because especially in today's world, where money is just paper money, where there's no actual value attached to it other than the value that we give it by believing in this paper money. At the end of the day, the reason we need money is just it's just a go-between. I give you money so I can get that thing, and what I really want is not the money but the thing that the money can buy. But a resource, in ancient times, bartering was a very popular, was the main way of how they did things. And so especially now, as we live through these very difficult economic, financial situations that are happening the world over, there is a lot of stagnation that is happening at this time. And I believe that one of the reasons why all the stagnation is happening is, in a sense, for people to stop being so obsessed with money. And I find myself doing a lot of bartering in my business, because not everyone is not super financially stable at this time. And so at the end of the day, as long as we see value in different things, why not exchange one thing for another? We don't need the money. And one thing that's interesting is that if you keep money out of it, well, you keep the tax man out of it. So, start thinking about the different types of resources that you have access to. And a resource can be a skill, knowledge, information that you have, an ability to do something that somebody else can't, connections, network. There are so many different resources that one has, but it's about leveraging those other resources. So if you're not so financially sort of free at this time, think about the other resources and skills and abilities and things that you have within you that can help you build on your resources. So here is the image of that card there. So yeah, just start thinking about all the different things that you have access to that can be a resource for you. So the next card we have here, very nice, is luck is on your side. New moon in Sagittarius. Remember that 9th house energy is Sagittarius, so we're seeing a lot of fire energy on the table right now. And so fire is all about passion and taking action. And so if you are finding the ability to take action on the things that are driving you, then luck is going to be on your side. Because we are living in a time, I was listening to a video the other day, and they were saying that the age of Pisces was about beliefs, and the age of Aquarius is about knowing. And so it is now about embodying the things that you once believed. Because if it's just a belief and it's there and you're not doing anything about it, then it's just kind of like something that you're like, okay, yeah, I believe this, but I don't, But when you know something, then you can fully embody that knowing. There's nothing that's going to make you doubt. So with all this information that you hold, all the spiritual knowledge that perhaps you hold, all the information that is coming through to you, it is no longer enough to just have this information and know this information. It's about embodying this information, taking action on this information. Sagittarius is all about the centaur that's aiming his bow and arrow. And so here it's about you deciding, okay, where is it that you want to focus your energy. Now as we're preparing to move into 2025, though you have to understand that the astrological new year doesn't begin until mid-March. So technically we're still in 2024 energy until mid-March. At that point, when we get to mid-March, when we move into Aries season around the 21st of March, is now when we're able to have the energy to start taking actions. As we're now actually in Sagittarius season. Yes, we are in Sagittarius season. So interesting that this information would come to light a lot. Is about really starting to decide what is it that you want to focus on moving forward, and especially with this full moon energy that we just had, what is it that you want to focus on moving forward? So pointing your arrow in that direction and sort of sending all of your energy to that one thing. And if you do that, luck is on your side. So being very intentional about what it is that you want to focus on moving forward. The next card we have is step out of your comfort zone. This is your North Node. So North Node in astrology really relates to your guiding star. What is the main reason that your soul chose to incarnate on this planet at this time? What is the main lesson that your soul came here to learn? So what is the direction that you need to be moving towards? And right now it says the direction you need to be moving towards is stepping out of your comfort zone. A lot of purple energy here, which really relates to the first eye or the third eye. So it is an opening of your spiritual eye. And yes, when you open your spiritual eye, it can be very uncomfortable. It's crazy. I was just chatting to a friend of mine about when I first started awakening, and how I had some very, very crazy experiences. And if you were to relate, if I had spoken about these experiences to somebody who was not spiritual, they would have thought that I was fucking crazy. I would have been locked up in a mental asylum. And this is unfortunately what seems to be happening a lot here in Kenya, at least from what I know, as I've spoken to many people who have gone through spiritual awakenings and spiritual activations only for their families to think that they are crazy or having some kind of mental breakdown. And so if there are moments where you think, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy, know that this is a very common part of the spiritual awakening journey. And I don't want to scare you in any way, but I just want to say that when you are having those kinds of experiences, better to speak to somebody who has understanding of the spiritual journey, because otherwise they can literally start to make you think that you are crazy. So yes, if you are being pushed to step out of your comfort zone and you're kind of just like, oh my gosh, can I do this? Remember, luck is on your side. So just trust in where you are being guided. Trust that your spirit knows what is happening. And the more that you trust and the more that you just allow yourself to be guided by the Most High in the spirit realm, then this easily transitions into the next card that says the energy is gaining momentum. And again, a lot more purple energy going on here, which literally shows that, as you step out of your comfort zone, the energy is gaining momentum, meaning that your spiritual eye is being more and more awakened. And just trust this process. I know that it can feel really, really intense, and it can feel really uncomfortable, and sometimes you can feel really lost and you can question, oh my gosh, am I going mad? I just want to tell you right now, right here, that you are most certainly not going mad. Though as you are cracked open to be revealed to yourself, the parts of yourself that are dormant inside of you that you didn't know existed, these are wanting to come to the surface. These are wanting for you to know those parts of yourself. So it can feel a little bit overwhelming and a little bit crazy, but just know that you are totally okay. The next card we have here is plant medicine. Be conscious of your nutrition. Alternative treatment. Connect with nature. It's interesting because my spiritual awakening journey really happened around the time that I decided to become a vegetarian. And not that I'm saying that everyone needs to become a vegetarian. No, everyone is different. One of the reasons I decided to become vegetarian was for health purposes, because I had just recently lost both of my parents to cancer and had done a lot of research around cancer, only to find out that cancer cannot actually grow in a body that is alkaline. So by consuming an alkaline-based diet, you are starting to remove a lot of the toxicity within your body. And we don't realize how much that toxicity affects us on a mental level, affects us on an energetic level, affects us on a physical level, but also on a spiritual level, because it makes you very, very dense when you are consuming a lot of meat. So if you are somebody who consumes a lot of meat, perhaps you might want to start looking into minimizing the amount of meat that you're eating. Perhaps you decide, okay, this week I'll try by not eating meat for one whole day. And then you can gradually increase to say, okay, maybe only 2 days I won't eat meat, and then 3 days, and then maybe you'll find yourself only eating meat once a week or twice a week or whatever it may be. But the idea is really for you, be conscious in your nutrition, because also, excuse me, the amount of consumption of meat in the world today is definitely not conscious. And not to say that nobody should ever eat meat, not at all, but one should be more conscientious of, the way that animal was reared, the way that animal was killed, the way, what it was fed. Because most people don't realize is that when you are consuming meat, you are also consuming the trauma of that animal. So if that animal was not reared in, a nice fun way, then you are consuming a lot of very heavy energies as you are consuming that meat. If also alternative treatments, we are, as I talked about the ancient future, especially here on the African continent, before Western medicine was a thing, plant medicine was the main thing. And again, all these people who are like, oh, I have to go to the doctor, or my head hurts, let me take a painkiller, because they won't take, drink a herbal tea or use herbs to deal with their problems, because they're like, oh no, that's so backwards, that's so like primitive. Where do you think, where do you think that Panadol comes from? It comes from a plant, and obviously the plant is more potent than whatever process that they have been through to turn it into that tablet that you're going to take. So really, we're at a time where alternative treatment is the best way to go, and obviously also spending a lot of time with nature. So, everything exists in nature to support us and to heal us. So when we start looking at nature differently, and then, when we look back to ancient times, the true original spirituality that existed was the worship of nature, was living in harmony with nature, because nature provided all. Nature provided the materials we needed to build our homes, for our clothing, for our food and our shelter, and all of it came from nature, and therefore we honored nature. But this is something that we have totally forgotten. And this is why the world is so backwards and upside down and all of it. It is because we have forgotten that we are supposed to be respecting nature and living in harmony with nature, as opposed to pillaging her and destroying her, and remembering that Earth is a living, breathing entity. And right now, all the chaos that is happening in the world, and all the natural disasters, and all the crazy stuff that is happening on the natural front, is because Mother Earth is like, you know what, you guys have been living on me for too long, and you have abused me. It's like if you're if you rent a house and you're constantly destroying the house, well, your landlord eventually is going to kick you out and be like, you need to leave. And that's essentially what Mother Earth is doing now. She's just like, some of you need to leave because you are literally destroying my home. So the next card we have is Flea Circus. And, just before I even go further, look at this card. It's just like chaos. There's so much going on, people everywhere, not really sure what's happening. There's all kinds of you know, like interesting creatures in the sky there. Everyone's kind of like looking up and being like, you know, what on earth is going on? And I think it's safe for us to say that we're all kind of like, what on earth is going on? Especially, I know I'm just really being pulled here to all the stuff in the sky where it's just like, what exactly are these creatures? Are they birds? Are they flying monkeys? No one really knows. And so it says, take a close look, many details. So yes, there is so much more going on at this time, and we're all kind of like trying to understand what's happening. And so this is a time where we do need to take a closer look, that we have to be more attentive to the many details. This is a time where we have to have a lot of discernment. It is important for us to be not just taking what we are being shown at face value, but really looking at the closer details, really questioning, you know, what is really going on here? What am I being shown? What am I being sold? Because what is happening at this time is that we are being tricked. You know, we are totally 100% being tricked. Just like when you look at the UN sustainability, you know, 2030 sustainability goals that are very much in line with the World Economic Forum, what are being presented at face value all looks hunky-dory and all great and wonderful. But when you look at the fine print, you realize not all is as it seems. So now is a very important time for you to be questioning and looking further beneath the surface. What am I seeing here? What is being pushed on me here? So very important that we be more attentive to what is going on. Don't just accept what you're being told at face value. Do your research. Go and question things for yourself. Go and look at things for yourself. The next card we have here is Waymaker, Miracle Worker, Promise Keeper, Light in the Darkness. I absolutely love this card. And yes, this is your journey here. You are the waymaker. You are the lighthouse. In this time of storm and darkness, those of us who have awakened, you know, earlier and at this time, you are the waymaker for the next round of people who are beginning to awaken, because the awakening journey is not easy and it is not for the faint-hearted. And there is a lot of reasons that most people really struggle with the awakening journey, because it is not easy to look at yourself. It is not easy to wake up to the reality of the world that we live in, because it is fucking dark, and it is uncomfortable, and it is not easy to accept. And especially when someone has been in a deep state of slumber, to wake up to realize, oh my gosh, everything I've been taught is a complete and utter lie. That is very overwhelming, and it is not an easy place to be in, because, you know, it really kind of like brings you to question, like, who am I really, and why am I here, and what is the point of all of this? And those questions that we find ourselves asking quite a lot once we are on that spiritual awakening journey. So yes, you are the miracle worker. You are the light in the darkness, because people don't realize the more people awaken, the less darkness on this planet, because we are the vessels of darkness. We don't realize that we are unconsciously holding up this system of darkness, which is not benefiting us in any way, shape or form. Instead of hating one another, people who are of a different religion, of a different race, of a different socio-economic background, of a different gender, whatever it may be, we have to realize that those people are not our enemy. The enemy is the system, the structure of the world in which we live, which is not in any way beneficial to you and me and any of us in between. So we have to understand that we need to be fighting the right enemy. All these divide and conquer tactics that make us hate one another, and all this divide and conquer is so that there is more and more separation between us. But if we can all just get our shit together, things would change so much faster. So the next card we have here is Get Grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. Yes, if you are an empath, if you are sensitive to energy, if you are sensitive to how other people are feeling, then it is very important that you spend a lot of time with nature, because especially for those people who are energetically sensitive, what is happening now is that you are basically at the forefront of the spiritual war that we are experiencing today. And how is it that you are at the forefront? Because you are unconsciously or consciously transmuting very, very, very heavy, dense energies as all this information is coming to the surface, as humanity is being awakened to the reality of the world in which we live. Those of us who are on the spiritual journey, those of us who are light workers, those of us who are empaths, whatever the words that you want to call them, we are on the direct line of battle, because we are the ones who are transmuting that energy. We are transmuting, we are absorbing those heavy, heavy, dense energies, and we are transmuting them within ourselves, because we are channels of higher vibrational energy. And so just by us being here, we are constantly transmuting a lot of heavy energy. So it is very important that you take time for yourself, you take things slow, spend a lot of time in nature, sit on the ground, ground yourself, meditate, practice a lot of self-care at this time. It is very, very important. Your body needs it, your spirit needs it, and the collective needs you. And so if you are burnt out, you won't be able to do the job that you came here to do, which is to help in this journey of transmuting all these heavy energies. The next card we have is Dance with Life. Do something to change your energy. And really, as we are coming to the end of the year, you know, with all this dancing, I think that with all the crazy shit that has been happening, we all just need to have a little bit of fun. So as the year comes to a close, even though it is not the end of the energetic year, the astrological year, it is something, and a cycle is somewhat being closed, and it is important to end on a high note. So really, up until the rest of the year, as we move more and more into the festive season, even though some of you might be working during the festive season, I highly recommend that you do some things to just have fun. Things that bring you joy, things that make you happy, things that make you feel at peace. Just do things for you. End your year on a high note. Don't sit back and look at all the things that went wrong. Rather, look back and try and highlight and identify all the things that did work out, all the wins that you had, all the challenges that you surmounted, all the obstacles that you were able to plow through. Even though they might have been difficult, you made it through because you are here now. So, you know, go and dance, go and have some fun, go and spend time with friends, go and do whatever makes you happy. The next card we have is Birthing a New Age. Birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. Yes, beautiful people, this is what you have been sent here to do, because remember, the way we create this new creation, this new earth, this new age, is first of all in our minds. We have to question, because we are all co-creating, all 8 billion, however many people of us are on this planet at this time, we are all co-creating this new age. And the way that we co-create is by thinking first. Remember, everything exists first in the mind. You know, if you're building a house, first you think about it in your mind, then you draw the plan, then you build the house. It is the same concept with this new age. First of all, it starts off in our minds. What is it that we want to be different in comparison to the system in which we have been living for so many years? Because how many of us like the system? I don't think many of us do. It's the few select individuals that actually control this world who like the system the way it is set up. So we all have to start holding in place what is it that we want to experience in this new age, and how can we actively start creating that in our lives right now. This is this whole thing of taking action. It's all well and good to be like, oh, I want to live in a life where I want to live in a world where people are more kind. Well, it starts with you. How can you be more kind? How can you be more kind to yourself? How can you be more kind to the people within your community? How can you be kinder to random strangers that you've never met before? Just how can you be more kind in every aspect of your life? We are the, Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. Yes, we have to be the change by literally changing ourselves first. And when we change ourselves first, we inspire others to make those changes also. So now is not a time of influencing, but a time of inspiring, and we inspire with our good deeds. So how can you start doing more good deeds? And these can be really small to begin with and then gradually get bigger, but you have to start somewhere. So the next card we have is Inner Temple, Devotion. Tune in to the portal of your heart. Yes, remember, the real temple is your body. The real temple is your soul. The real temple is your heart. The real temple is what is within. You are the temple that you hold. You hold the temple for your soul. What is animating your physical body is your soul, is your spirit. And the more attention you give to that aspect of yourself, the more you are just going to continue elevating and flying high, tuning into the portal of your heart. As I was just saying, how can you be more kind? Yes, when you tune into your heart space and you allow your heart space to be what guides you, you start operating in a very different light. You start making decisions in a very different way. You start looking at the world in a very different way. Think about when you are in love, or when you are loved, or when you are happy and you are in joy. You make very different decisions to those decisions you make when you are not in joy and not in happiness. So what is it that you can do here to bring a more focus into your heart? Because, you know, as we said, Pisces season was about believing. Aquarius season is about knowing. So beliefs is all about, like, oh, you know, you can believe all kinds of things, but when you know something, it is deeply anchored within your being. And as we move through this time of knowing, it is also knowing that what governs our vessel, you know, people think that it is our brain that is the most important mechanism of our body, but it is actually our heart. And there is scientific research to back this up, that our heart is way more powerful and way more intelligent than our brain. So once you start to tap into living more from a heart-based place than from a mind-based place, you're going to start working and operating in a very different way. So as you start moving forward, rather than thinking about everything from your mind, really question, does this feel good from my heart? Because that is where we are being led, to be more heart-based than being mind-based. The next card we have here is Isle of Avalon, Healing, returning to wholeness, transformation. Yes, and this is a reoccurring theme that is happening not just on an individual level, but also very much on a collective level. And look at how she's just kind of like sitting there, bathing, allowing herself to be relaxed. And you know, water is all about emotions. And so the healing journey is very, you know, returning to wholeness is very much about connecting with our emotions. And we live in a world where emotions are not considered important. You know, people continue to repeat that, oh, if you're emotional, that's a negative thing. It's really not. Because when you are connected to your emotions, you have better connectivity with other people, because the way we relate with other human beings is on an emotional level. We're all feeding information back to each other, you know, non-tangible information through our energetic field. And our energetic field is directly linked to our emotions. You vibrate high when you're in high emotions. You vibrate low when you're in low emotions. So it is also starting to become more aware of your emotions, and your emotions are directly linked to your thoughts. So what kind of thoughts are you having the majority of the time? Because if you're always constantly thinking about all the terrible things about you, or the terrible things in the world, all the negative things about yourself, well, then you're generating a lot of negative emotions within you. But as I was saying earlier, focus on your wins. Go and look back over the year at all the things that you have overcome, all the things that you have accomplished, all the things that you thought might have killed you, and yet they made you stronger. So you are returning to wholeness. You are going through your season of transformation. Trust that process. And the transformation process, I will be honest, is not always easy. Just look at the butterfly as it starts off, and, you know, it's like caterpillar form or whatever, and then it goes into the cocoon, and I can't remember the process, but you know how it is. And it's like, it's not easy. It's like you're this ugly, squiggly, like slimy creature before you turn into the butterfly. It's not easy. be gentle with yourselves, be kind. Sit back, relax, take it easy. We live in a world where always like it has to be do, go, 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 go. And what that is doing to our nervous system is that pretty much all of us are stuck in fight or flight, because we're just kind of like, we don't know how to be at rest. We don't know just how to pause. We don't know how to just sit back. Most people, they don't know how to relax because their system is stuck in fight or flight, and they're literally just kind of like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to, you literally have to train yourself. I was someone who was always like jittery, and thank God for COVID, because the first time I had ever found myself without a job, and I would find myself walking in the forest only to find myself running, to be like, where are you going? Where are you running to? You literally have nowhere to be. And yet I was still running, because deep within my subconscious, I was running away from what? Well, that has been the journey of uncovering for all these years, to find out that most of us are running away from what? We're running away from our past traumas. We're running away from all these negative emotions that we don't want to feel, because we don't know how to deal with them, and we think that they're literally going to kill us, but they won't kill you. Just feel those emotions. Have compassion for yourself. The next card we have is Ride the Waves. Life lessons and growth. You will get through this. Self-explanatory. The more we fight, if you're there like surfing your wave, the more you fight the wave, the less you're going to be able to ride that wave, because you're going to be there like fighting against the current and fighting against the wave. And I'm sure people who have done surfing, when that wave crashes down on you, it's fucking exhausting to come back up to the surface. And so the more you fight what is happening in your life now, we're already being taught about surrender and letting go and trust and having faith. These are all the lessons that 2024 has really, really been about. So stop fighting, just ride the wave. Question what, rather than saying, oh, why is this happening? Poor me. Rather question, what am I supposed to learn from this situation? Ask the universe, what are you trying to teach me? What am I, show me, help me understand what I'm supposed to learn from this experience. The next card we have is Protect Your Dreams. You are the guardian of your precious dreams, and they are safe in your care. Keep them close to your heart until you're ready to release them. Yes, as I was saying here, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being, it starts with your dreams, because whatever dreams you hold for yourself is an indication of how your soul is speaking to you and saying, this is what I want to experience in this lifetime. And when you follow your heart, you follow your dreams. So do not be afraid to follow your dreams, follow your heart, do those things that make you happy, do those things that bring you joy. Do those things that uplift you, because the more you focus on doing those things, the more you will continue to elevate your vibration. And last but not least, we have moderation. Is there something you shouldn't be eating? We've had this thing about eating come through twice now. So this obviously shows that this is quite important here. Most people don't realize that spirituality is directly connected to your health. If you are not healthy, it is very difficult for you to tap into the spiritual journey. And so the number one way that you can focus and elevate your spirit and improve your spirit and make things better for you on a spiritual level is to improve your health in all its different forms. So try to eat mindfully and healthily. Although the fairies say that a little bit of what you fancy is fine. Yes, everything is more in moderation. No one is saying that you need to completely cut everything out of your life. In fact, this doesn't work. For me, who struggled with my weight for so many years and who was always trying to diet and this and that, it wasn't until I changed my mindset around things and improved my eating habits, but also changed the way that I spoke to myself as I was eating. And, when I would eat the chocolate or I would eat the cake, I would enjoy it as opposed to feeling guilt, because eating these things with guilt. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go and eat them every day and be like, oh, I feel not guilty. No, totally missing the point. Enjoy a little bit of everything in small doses and you cannot go wrong, because they say the middle path is the best path, because you're not in any too extreme. Enjoy all that the spiritual life has to offer you, but also enjoy all that the material life has to offer to you. It is a little bit of everything, because remember, you are equally spiritual as you are physical. So a lot of information. I certainly hope that this video has been helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Perhaps you might want to share some of the wins that you have experienced this year, what you are looking forward to improving in the year to come. And in the meantime, I send you so much love. I wish you strength on your journey, and just know that you are not alone. You've got this. All right. Much love to you all. Bye for now.